Thank you. Okay, so getting started. The year ahead. Is this large enough for everyone? Yeah.
It looks great. Thanks, Karen.
Okay. So it's key dates in the school year. In August and September, you will be presenting and having approval for the audit report, which we now call a financial review. So you'll be presenting the financial review for the second half of last year, January the 1st to June 30th, your financial report for the whole year, and the budget that you've agreed upon for the 24-25 school year.
Sorry to interrupt, Claire. Are the slides supposed to be changing?
Did it not change?
It's just the title slide. It says.
Oh no, I'm hang on, sorry.
No
What's
problem.
happened? What have I done?
We're seeing style guide. So
I know what I've done. Hang on. I think. Where is? Sorry, everyone.
Would you like to stop sharing and then find the
Let's
file?
stop share and share again.
That might be easier.
Yeah. Okay. Are you seeing? No. Oh goodness, I'm not very good at this. Sorry. The year ahead. You seeing the calendar now? Great. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. If your PTA is likely to hold a raffle, you need to fill out the CTNRP1, which is raffle registration. This needs to be filed 60 days prior to when you're expecting to hold a raffle. They actually do turn them around fairly quickly, but it's best not to leave it till the last minute. Oh, sorry. That was the cat. This is a disaster so far. I'm so sorry. Are we back to the calendar?
yes.
Okay. All right. Another part. The other part of that is that you need to file a raffle report for the prior year if you received a permit and did an actual raffle. So that's the part 2 of the form. And every time you hold a raffle, you do need to put in that report. Okay, the registration, like I say, it says September the 1st. The raffle registration is valid for a whole year. So if you think you're going to have a raffle during this school year, get that entered, and then you've got it in place ready. Okay. Memberships. In order for a PTA unit to be what we call in good standing, there are several rules or requirements, and one of them is for your unit to have 15 members by October the 1st. The Vice President of Membership and myself have actually been working today to look at any schools that currently don't have 15 members, and we've been reaching out to them to check in, see if they've got any problems, or just remind them to submit their memberships. Totem, if you use Totem, submits them automatically, which is just nice and easy for you. But if you are under 15 members, we will be reaching out. And if you collect your memberships manually, it's just a reminder to submit those dues to us, or to actually get those members to join. So by October the 1st, we need that number. And then after that, you can submit your manual dues monthly. As I say, Totem does everything for you, so you don't even need to think about it after you've got those 15. Okay. November the 15th is a biggie. Tax return deadline. So forms that you need to fill in, and we'll go through this in a little bit later. There's the 990 federal tax return, and there was several versions of this. There's the 199 state tax return, and this is all for the fiscal year that ended on June the 30th. There's also Form RRF1 or CTTR1 for the prior year, and we'll have a look at those in a minute. December the 1st, so the insurance premium that you pay is to a company called AIM, who provide insurance services to PTAs. They will be in touch directly, and you pay them directly. You can either pay by check, but it's very good to get that set up early on so that the check has a chance to reach them in the mail. Or they send you like a QuickBooks invoice, and you just click on the button and then pay it. But there is a deadline to do that. And if you don't meet that deadline, there will be a $25 late fee. Was there a question?
Quick question, Ted Markham here from Wallenberg. The insurance, we were trying to figure out last year how to pay that, because we have a rule about issuing checks. They won't take a check. The insurance company seems to want online payments. So it ended up somebody had to pay it out of pocket and then claim reimbursement, which is, we hate doing that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They do accept checks. They definitely prefer the online payment, but they do accept checks. So it's just a matter of getting that in sooner. I mean, I'll double check that when all the information comes out, but as far as I remember, they do.
Our rules say we can't issue a check without an invoice, something like that. But I mean, we'll figure it out one way or another. But we had to ask the insurance company to send an invoice first.
Oh,
it all takes more time.
right. Is that part of your bylaws or?
Yeah, we need to show a receipt or an invoice or something.
Okay. Well, I can check in with you when the time comes, and we can see what we can do to just make a note.
Took a bit more time than we expected.
Yeah, understood. Okay. Workers' compensation form. So now we're in the new year. Workers' compensation form. Every school has to complete this, and I would think probably 99%, if not everyone, doesn't actually pay any workers, but they want you to fill in the form just to confirm that. You'll be emailed with a link to the form, and it's very straightforward to complete. Okay, January and February. Your financial review team will need to be conducting the mid-year financial review, which will cover July 1st to December 31st. And that review will, as I say, check. There's resources you'll be able to find the actual form that they need to fill in. It's just a kind of a reconciliation of the first 6 months, making sure everything matches up and is in order. Okay. In March or April, or over those 2 months, you'll be preparing the budget for the next year, for the next school year. And then finally, in July and August, your financial review team will prepare the second financial review, which covers January 1st to June 30th. So that's our key dates. Okay. Financial reports. So at each of your unit PTA meetings, you were responsible for presenting the financial situation of your unit, and also for executive board meetings. You would run that from the date of the last meeting you held to the current date. Your software, whether it's PTZ or something else, will you just put in the start and end date, and it will generate the report for you. The financial statement will show you the balances in each of your accounts, however many accounts you have, and any account that you have should be included on this statement and have records kept. Then it will look at receipts, everything that you've received over that time period. And also has the year to date, and then it compares it to your budget, which you'd have loaded up in there. And then the bottom half of the statement will show you expenses that have been incurred during the chosen time period for the year to date and compared to your budget. Okay. And then at the bottom, you'll see there's a section that says checks written. And these were checks and payments that you made during that time period. And another key part of the presentation is to have those checks ratified. So everybody votes on ratifying those checks or accepting those checks as being within the budget, and yeah, that they make sense. Okay. Membership dues. If you conduct your membership via Totem, they automatically deposit money into your bank account. It's linked to the bank account. So the portion that comes to your PTA unit will be deposited directly. In order to make that balance with your software, you need to make an entry in your PTA software to show that that amount was received in your bank. Make sure everything matches. If you receive manual dues, cash and checks, you'll enter that in your software in two parts, because there'll be 50 cents for each. Is it 50 cents?
Yes, we get.
Yes, 50 cents for each membership that goes to your PTA unit. The 425 remaining gets passed through to the second district PTA, and then we actually pass through a portion of that to the state PTA.
Sorry to interrupt, Claire. Is there any way, do you see a little black square that says welcome to Project in your chat?
I'm gonna get that.
It's just cutting off some of your great info, the content.
Ooh. Why am I so hopeless at this?
No, you're not. You're not.
It's okay to be hopeless at one thing if you're really good at something else.
Exactly. You're so
You,
focused on
I
all.
think if
Oh,
you
if
just click
only.
on it, if you click on it, will it just go away?
No. Where?
Start rehearsing? So
Show
weird.
real-time feedback, start rehearsing.
You don't want real-time feedback.
No, I don't.
We are recording this meeting for anyone who's asked, but we will not record the private Q&A at the end in case there are names used or specific units used. So we are recording a portion of this, and we will share slides to everyone who registered. Thank you so much for asking that in the chat.
Okay.
If you go into slides view, like slideshow view, would it take that out?
I know what I'm doing. See all slides. What if I open it up again? No. Drawing tools, camera on, end show.
I'm also secretly jealous. I don't have a presenter coach on my side.
Ugh. I didn't realize you were seeing that. That's so annoying.
If you go to slideshow view, maybe instead of just the, if you click on present slides, would it take it off?
Where's that?
That should be in the upper right-hand corner.
I don't even know what I'm using. That's how good I am.
It says PowerPoint, but you know.
Does? Oh, does that?
That
Is that anything?
It got rid of it, but it's much smaller now.
Oh. Minimize. Oh. I'm so sorry, everyone. I am technology.
No, would you like Liz and I to present the slides so you can stop sharing and then one of us will present it?
Maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then we'll just go on your cues. Liz,
So-
are you still on?
Yes, let me access the slide deck.
I sent it in the chat. Do you need it again?
Nope, I got it.
Lovely, thank you. That way you can focus on the content, Claire.
Yeah, thank you. My husband says that I'm kryptonite where technology is concerned. I think he might be right.
My 11 and 15-year-old are my tech like support, so okay. You're okay.
Let me,
Note to everyone, if you can't do it yourself, ask your kids. They probably have a better handle on this than we do.
may I ask you to make me a presenter, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. And then there was another quick question. It said, can you show us the deadline for the PTA charity registration renewal? Did that already happen?
That will come up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Liz, and I think we're at slide
Slide 9, I think.
one more.
There
Yes.
we are. So we've just talked about the membership dues.
And Claire, actually, it's 525 that comes out of dues to pass on, not
Yeah.
475 anymore. It went up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Perfect, Liz. Thank you.
Okay. The dues go up next year, though, isn't it?
No, this is it's 525, so we get 525 passes on, and then 475 stays with the unit.
So it's $10.
If you have a $10 due, so people can charge whatever dues they want.
Oh, I see. Yes, but they have to.
Yes, but in general, whatever the
That's all.
dues are, 525
Yeah.
goes on to 50 cents
Right.
to us, 250 to national, and 225
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
CAFTA. So that's 525. So they keep, if you have a $10 membership due, then you're keeping 475 and you're
Yeah.
giving 525 to all 3 PTA umbrellas, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next slide, please. So this is the unit remittance form, which just breaks down what you're sending through to us, your unit name and your unit address, straightforward. You don't need your PTA ID number. The majority of things that you are sending through with this form, it's going to be membership. There's a couple of things like the insurance late charge. The deadline is 12/20. You'll get the information from AIM on the 1st of December, but the deadline is the 20th. And I am sure I had updated this, but that's fine. It will have my name on as the treasurer. All PTA units must have 2 signatures on their checks. So that's something I look at when they come in to me. Yeah. Okay, so next slide.
Oh, Carrie had a
Thank you.
hand raised.
Oh, hi, Carrie.
Hi, so I just wanted to interject that there's a certain amount of dues that you need to pay to the state and to the district, and you set your own membership fee, and that membership fee might be less than the dues that you remit, and that your unit has decided to subsidize some membership. So your membership fee might be $4 or $5, and you still have to remit the $4.75. And what happens is you're just subsidizing that from your general fund. But you can set your membership fee whatever you want it to be. And you can also choose to pay the membership fees on behalf of your members who aren't paying. So if you have a hardship or you want to sponsor a specific person in your community, you can pay their membership on their behalf and just remit that to us.
Yep, absolutely.
So I had another question, like that for unit remittance, do we, if we are using Totem, then I'm assuming at least for membership, it's handled automatically.
Yeah, but you don't need to fill that in for Totem memberships. It's just for any that you're submitting that you received as cash or checks from your community.
Okay.
Okay, so just some best practices generally in handling deposits and payments. A copy of a check will serve as a receipt. Cash deposits, if you have like a bake sale or something like that, all cash received should be counted by 2 people to make sure it agrees, and also to, as a security thing, I guess. And then you fill out a receipt form that you hand to your treasurer, and that should be signed by both the people that counted the money. The treasurer, I think, should not be one of those people, because then the treasurer verifies it as well. Okay, payment authorization form. should be submitted and signed by the person requesting payment or reimbursement. It would then be reviewed and authorized or rejected and signed by the president and the secretary. So examples of this might be someone went and bought some plates for the PTA meetings or something like that, and they've requested reimbursement for that. So that kind of thing. As we said, all checks require 2 signatures, and Tina has added into the chat that those 2 signing people cannot be living in the same household, and they should not be anyone employed by SFUSD. I know we sometimes have teachers and other people that work at the school involved in the PTA, which is fine, but they can't be check signers. Okay, if you're authorizing payment via EFT or a bank bill pay form, that must also be completed, signed by 2 authorized check signers. So for things like the AIM payment or anything else where you can make the payment online. There's a question coming saying payee.
Oh, sorry. Related to my last.
Oh,
Can one sign it?
can one of the signers also be a
So
recipient?
often it's a PTA
Yeah.
member who's getting reimbursement, but if that one is a signer also, do we need a 3rd person to sign? Or
I don't think so. I think the system put in place is has enough people with eyes on it that it's okay. It's enough security. Yeah.
Okay, so if I pay something out of pocket, then me and the president is enough to sign it.
Are you the treasurer?
Treasurer, yes.
Yeah. You would have the secretary sign it as well.
Oh, so 2 people other than myself must sign it. Is that what?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. So if you're the requesting the money, you're also the president. No, you're the treasurer. Sorry.
Well, it's usually we have 3, the secretary, the 3 active members really. And usually one person pays out of pocket and then has to get reimbursed. I'm making it too complicated here.
Yeah, Ted, I think
with the
so for
bank, we
sorry, go ahead.
have all these people turning up at the bank at the same time just to change the signers, and it was very complicated.
Yeah, the changing the bank account when you change the signatories can be a pain, definitely. Some banks have much higher demands around that than others. I'm so sorry about my dog. It's like it is a zoo here, sorry. Okay, should we move on to the next slide? Okay, bank reconciliation. Bank statements should be mailed to the school, not to the treasurer, not to a personal address. If your account is paperless, I'm just going to close the door. If your account is paperless, there should be someone who has view-only access of the account so that they can look at activity. The bank reconciliation should be done monthly and signed by the treasurer for all of your bank accounts, including a PayPal account if you have one. And the software helps you through this. You have you put in, after selecting that you want to reconcile an account, you put in the end date of the statement and the ending balance of the statement. And then the software pulls up your activity from that time. You compare the statement to your software and you check off the relevant transactions that you see, and eventually it should balance. And that means your reconciliation is complete. Okay, so bank statements and reconciliation, once you've completed that, they should be reviewed and signed by a second person who is not a check signer. So yeah, someone else on your board will review that and sign it as being accurate. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, PTEZ, I mentioned this. It was PTEZ and now it's PTAZ, or the other way around. It's a software that's specifically for PTAs, so it understands what we need to use it for. It's free for all units. You need to use it to upload details of your serving officers. But you can also use it for accounting, which you do have to pay for based on your revenue. So you can see the scale on the screen. Okay, all units are required to update officers and board members, upload annual financials, the reports that we talked about, upload their annual budget, upload your mid-year and year-end financial reviews, upload copies of your tax forms, and upload the Attorney General RRF1 form. And these are things that you don't have to pay for the software in order to do that, but you do need to have PTZ and upload those reports. Okay, next slide, please. And this is just to show you how to do that. You select the admin option, document management, and then you can select the document for that fiscal year and click on upload. And you'll see that the status on the right-hand side will switch to a Y once you've uploaded it. In order to put your officer details in, you go to admin, and I think it's, let me look at it while I'm here. You go to admin and then officer/board member contact, and then you can enter the details of your unit. How do we get access to PTEZ? If you don't yet have access, drop me an email, and treasurer at can't even remember, sfpta.org, and I will set you up and send you your username and a temporary password for you to change. Okay. Okay, next slide, please. PayPal. So ideally in your software, your PTZ, you will have that register as a separate account that you will reconcile separately, and you will enter transactions as they are received in PayPal. And when you transfer money from your PayPal account into your bank account, you would do an adjusting entry to show that that has happened, and that will move the money around in the software. The PayPal account is part of the financial review, so you do need to complete a financial review form for that. Okay, next slide, please. One thing to mention, PTA units are not allowed to use Venmo and not allowed to have debit cards, because you can't have the same control and signatures and everything over payments. I just thought of that. So.
And Claire, does that also go for Zelle or anyone else? It's just,
yeah,
yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, next screen, please. Okay, so we're looking at the rest of the year. We're well in the swing of things. We've been presenting our reports, and we've everything's going smoothly. We've got our members, and we're getting some donations in. Okay, so now we're going to look at the rest of the year. Next slide, please. Okay, financial review. We keep talking about this. It used to be called an audit. So if I slip up and say audit, this is what I'm referring to. So some of this is repeat information. You do this twice a year, the middle of the year and the end of the year. What it does is check the accuracy of your books, of the financial books. It detects errors, and it provides recommendations for corrective action. So the person that is going to be doing the financial review will need your checkbook register, your bank statements, deposit records, and then the supporting documents for cash receipts, authorizations for payments, your monthly treasurer's reports and financial reports, and so on. The report, and then there's a checklist that the financial reviewer completes, will be presented to the executive board and the general membership for approval. And then a copy of the report and the checklist should be sent to us. You can send it to Financial Secretary at sfpta.org or Treasurer. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Tax forms, the fun part. So California state PTAs are tax exempts. We are 501c3s. In order to maintain this status, you need to still file your tax forms that are for nonprofits. Okay, so the 990, and yeah, to mention the deadline for all of these is November the 15th. You can file for an extension, but it's probably a good idea to get it done as soon as you can, and while the information might be fresh in everyone's minds. Okay, so if your gross receipts are less than 50,000, you can file electronically, and you are using the 990N. If your receipts are less than 2,000 but greater than 50,000, 200,000, sorry, then you are doing the 990EZ. And if your gross receipts are greater than 200,000, you're doing form 990. It's perfectly acceptable to have someone complete this for you, someone who's familiar with doing that. You might need to pay for that service, but it is acceptable to have a CPA do it or something. Then there is the California form, which is form 199. Two versions of this. Under 50,000 gross receipts is form 199N. And if you receive more than 50,000, you do form 199. All these forms you can find on our website and on CAPTA's website. You'll find the links to them. PTAs that are incorporated must file a statement of information, form SI 100. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, the annual registration renewal for your charitable status. This needs to be done every year, and it's sent to the Attorney General. Again, two versions. If your gross receipts are less than 50,000, it's the CTTR1. If your receipts are greater than 50,000, it's the RRF1 form. And these are also due on November the 15th. And you need to send your 990 form with it. So yeah, treating it as one task is a good idea. And you can file this electronically and upload the 990. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Workers' compensation, as I mentioned, everybody needs to complete this questionnaire. It's just a questionnaire. There are no, There are no penalties for completing it late or not completing it, but everyone is required to. It's very simple, and it's an electronic form due on January the 15th, and it's almost every unit will be saying that they do not hire employees, and so it's very easy. But there'll be more details on that in the fall, and you can always reach out for help with that one. Okay, next slide, please. A budget. Okay, budget preparation. It sounds daunting, but it isn't really, because you have a lot of information at your fingertips to help you do that. So you can look at this year's budget, and you compare what your actual numbers were compared to that budget. And you can make any alterations that you think are sensible, or you can leave things exactly the same if the numbers line up. You can ask for input from your executive board and your general membership, and you present it to them in March and April, and that gets approved. The thing about a budget, you can also vote to make amendments to it. So once you've prepared that first budget, it's not the be all and end all. Okay. Next slide, please. Just a little bit of information. The donor platforms, PayPal charge you 2.2% plus 30 cents per transaction. And so they take that out of the donation that you receive. Totem, it says 5%, but it's basically $1 added on to each membership.
Claire, we had a couple of questions about this, and actually, Carrie, we might need your expertise here because you're very knowledgeable in all things California PTA, as opposed to just
I don't know. I can try.
Yeah.
everyone's wondering why PayPal and Totem, if they're other online platforms like Zelle or Stripe or Square, or someone else mentioned.
I think Stripe is allowed.
Stripe's
I'm
allowed.
not the right person for this question.
I think Square Stripe is usually allowed for transactions, but I think for donations, like through PayPal and Totem, because of these charges, a lot of folks, and I know that online charity PayPal takes a while to set up, and
Yeah.
it can be a little tough.
Yeah, yes. I don't know. And there's a lot of information from the state PTA. Oh, Claire put that in the chat.
Yes. How you can
But Claire can also kind of reach out to Donna maybe at the state PTA and find out what the reason is. And it's a best practice around the 2 signatures thing, but I can't remember why.
Well, it's not just best practices. Someone was asking about the signatures, that if they cannot be SFUSD staff, they're not supposed to be signing checks.
Right.
And someone said, is this a legal requirement, best practices? I say both, but that's just me. But I didn't know.
No, it's the school district's legal requirement for their own risk insurance.
Yes.
It's a school district requirement. So it's
For the
legal.
staff to not sign.
Yes, for the staff to not sign. So it is a school district legal requirement. It's a condition of their employment, but it's not a state of California requirement.
But the California requires us to have 2 signatures from.
California state PTA requires 2 signatures, but that is not a state government requirement.
Got it.
That is a best practices requirement.
Okay, there we go. So hopefully that answer was questioned.
Yeah.
I mean, that question was answered.
Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions while we're still on this?
And I will reach out to CAPTA and try and get some more clarification on some of the other platforms that have emerged that we haven't really, like Zelle, that
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
also there's a
Yeah.
difference between collecting donations versus paying invoices, for example. Sometimes that there is absolutely a bank-to-bank transaction for invoicing. Like if you have to pay a vendor and they have to pay you and you want to avoid a credit card charge or other things like that. If you want to do a direct payment from your bank to theirs, there is access to that. But in terms of getting donations, collecting money from events, right? You're having movie night and you're having pizza sales or something like that. Like, I think that's really different. And Siddharth, you said something about a subordination letter?
I think I know what you mean. Is it the
Letter of determination?
letter of determination, maybe? And that's something you can get from CAPTA, from Laura. Is it Laura that does that, or is it Donna? It might be Donna Broussard.
It might be Cindy as well, but you can
Yeah.
definitely email us, Siddharth, send us that information. We can help you
Yeah.
with next steps.
Yeah, that was required for the PayPal charity status.
Thanks for pausing, Claire. Appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. I was also going to say, we have hopefully you're all registered on it. We have a listserv group, which is all officers in the PTA units in our district. And so I can see Siddharth mentioned, has anyone got the PayPal charity status and he would like to connect and learn? This email group is a great place to throw out that question and get some feedback from people who have experienced what you're trying to learn about with any kind of thing. So if you aren't on that group, I can't remember what the actual breakdown is. It's like 2D Google groups or something, isn't it? But yes, if you don't think you're on that, if you're not getting newsletters from the Second District PTA, then you probably aren't on it. So we can add you. Okay.
It just went, it took me many months of last year to get through that charity registration with PayPal. Their main hang up is you can show your charity forms, the RRF, is it, or CT, one of those.
Yeah.
With the DOJ, that one, I don't know if you've mentioned that one actually. There's a filing you do with the DOJ to be charity status. But the name didn't line up with you have to send a bank statement as well, and all the names have to match up exactly for them to do it. It's just weird. We had
Yeah.
that for about 9 months.
Yeah. They make it very difficult. Yeah.
You do save some money. Can I just ask clarification about Zelle? You know, for donations, is it okay? Obviously, I'm very careful about any outgoing payments for anything. It's always by check, but
I'm going to
Come
reach out to
Saturday?
Capta and yeah, I'm going to reach out to Capta and find out about that, because this article was posted on October 3rd, 2022. And I know, for example, that there's actually a non-profit version of Venmo as well. So I don't know whether that needs to be updated in with that information.
I
So
agree.
I'll reach out to Capta and circulate responses.
Can I just
Yeah.
flag too that the language in that article is so strange? It reads like a sponsored post, and at the bottom it says posted in finance, sponsor, tagged finance, online payments.
Yeah, it's the catchwords for the California PTA if you're going to search, right? Because the search is managed by Google. So that's why they have those words there. This is a real California PTA page. It's not
Yeah.
sponsored by anyone. It's actually their folks that work on it. But I could see the confusion at the bottom.
It's just so sales pitchy. It seems very strange, and
Yeah,
also really out of touch with
totally.
what real life is.
Yeah, we understand. And I think main thing here is definitely seeing, as you can imagine, the California PTA is huge, and they actually just put out a statement that they'd like folks to respond to them about they're changing their website and that kind of stuff. So Courtney, that is right up in that area where we could definitely say, hey, you have these pages that are not looking really great, and it's hard to find information. When they do, it looks a little canned or it doesn't look like quite right. And so we can definitely pass along as our the questions for this. And it could be, yes, it could be like Cheddar Up.
Thanks.
Cheddar
Yeah,
Up
thanks
is
for
one of their
mentioning
groups.
that. It does look like an ad. Wow.
Yeah,
It says
it does.
sponsored, and then it says like at the bottom, it says Cheddar Up serves PTAs, rave reviews included, click here.
Yeah, it does, because that's one of the discounted services that you get as a PTA member. Is that Cheddar Up is one of the groups up there that is working with national and state
So
PTA.
if Zelle was sponsoring them, then
No, that's not at all. That's not it at all. So we can definitely get, sorry, I want to get Claire a chance to, Claire, do you want to go through the presentation? Should we stop and do a general Q&A? Because
yeah, I don't think there are many other slides actually. Is it just the resources slide? Is that, yeah. So
And something to consider is if there is an ad for Cheddar Up, it's because somebody at the state PTA or the national PTA has reviewed it and found that it's appropriate. Just like somebody at your school PTA might have looked at Parent Square or Kinsella